For most bands, playing the Black Parade again would be a victory lap. For My Chemical Romance, it turned into something else entirely. Because the Long Live the Black Parade tour isn't just a nostalgia run, it's a fully staged, constantly evolving production that tells the story of power, control, performance, and what happens when entertainment becomes propaganda. And here's the thing, you don't need to understand any of it to enjoy the show. But if you do want to understand it, half the fun is trying. Every night, My Chemical Romance play the same songs, but the meaning shifts. There are characters who watch, who punish, and who interfere. There are rituals, votes, executions, and moments where the band itself seems to be trapped inside the spectacle that they're creating. Fans have been tracking changes from show to show, pulling apart symbolism, debating theories, and trying to figure out what this parade is actually marching toward, especially as the tour will carry on in South America and Europe in 2026. So in this video, we're breaking down a few of the biggest fan theories and what to watch for as the Black Parade tour continues to evolve. Because with My Chemical Romance, the music is only ever part of the message. Before the story unfolds through the set list, the Long Live the Black Parade tour establishes a world defined by control, spectacle, and ritual. Authority is always present, even when it's not speaking. Uniforms, ceremonies, and nationalist imagery suggest a system built on obedience, one where entertainment isn't just a distraction, but a tool. Performers are elevated, monitored, and corrected in real time. Nothing feels accidental, and nobody seems fully free. The Black Parade tour is set in the fictional world of drag. Now, you'll hear that name repeatedly mentioned throughout the show, but this video isn't here to fully explain what that world is or where it comes from. We've already broken that down in depth on Loudwire.com, and we've linked that explainer in the description. We're also not going to catalog every nightly change or character appearance here. If you want that level of detail, we've also linked our full tracking coverage below. What matters for this video is how the world functions. Power flows in one direction, and choices are offered but tightly controlled. Disobedience earns public punishment. And while the band is always at the center of the performance, they don't always feel like they're the ones in charge. Recurring figures move in and out of the show, observing, interfering, and enforcing without ever being fully explained. That ambiguity feels intentional. The show doesn't hand you answers. It invites you to notice patterns and draw conclusions for yourself. This world becomes the framework for everything that follows, and the lens through which the fan theories start to make sense. Or at least, as much sense as they can once you're a few hours down the rabbit hole. Now, warning, there are going to be spoilers ahead for this tour if you're going in blind. The most prominent fan theory to come out of the Long Live the Black Parade tour is what fans are calling the time loop theory. Now, to understand where this idea comes from, you have to look backward. My Chemical Romance released the Black Parade in 2006, and in 2007, the band famously died on stage in Mexico City on the final show of the tour. Within the band's own mythology, that story was final. The parade was over. And yet, here we are. On this tour, My Chemical Romance are once again performing as the Black Parade, a version of the band that, according to its own narrative, should not exist anymore. Fans believe this version has been brought back by his grand immortal dictator. The question is, how and when? One of the strangest clues came during the band's show in Arlington, Texas. During the execution sequence, a hostage survived, and Gerard Way announced that she'd won a brand new 2009 Baruva Dart.
All right, well, let's show her what she's won then. It's a brand new 2009 Baruva Dart.
With a goat in the back seat. Now that's clearly a joke, but fans immediately fixated on it. Because if a 2009 car is considered brand new, then what year does this story take place in? The Black Parade album came out in 2006, and Danger Days followed in 2010. So is this show happening in 2009? And if so, what year is it now?
What year is this?
Honestly, I don't even know anymore. And that confusion deepens when you factor in the tour announcement, which said the band hadn't been seen in 17 years, having disappeared into something called moat, a term that still has not been explained. Now, if the band thinks it's 2009, but they've also been gone for 17 years, then time clearly isn't operating normally here. Which brings fans to the core of this theory, that time isn't moving forward at all, it's looping. Within the structure of the show, the same story plays out every night. The same rituals, the same execution, the same ending. But each performance includes small variations, different readings, altered reactions, subtle changes in behavior. It's kind of like Groundhog Day, except instead of learning how to escape the loop, My Chemical Romance seemed trapped inside of it. Now, fans point to these variations as moments where the loop briefly glitches, where time bends but never fully resets. From there, the time loop theory branches off into two unsettling possibilities. One interpretation suggests that the band never actually died, that they staged their death and they were hidden away for 17 years in moat, only to be redeployed now as performers for the drag propaganda machine. The other possibility is darker, but very on brand for My Chemical Romance: necromancy. Some fans believe the band did die, and now they've been brought back repeatedly, night after night, to perform the same story in an endless cycle. One YouTube creator, Disloyal Order, pointed out the significance of the nightly executions. There's 4 hostages, one for each band member. And if this theory has you hooked, her videos are absolutely worth watching. She breaks all of this down in much more detail. Now, is that symbolic or is it functional? Do these executions keep the band alive long enough to continue spreading their message city after city? Even the literature featured in each show feeds into this idea. Gerard Way has been seen reading Scientific American, including an article titled Into the Quantum Realm, which naturally sent fans spiraling into theories about physics, time distortion, and observation. Now, none of this has been confirmed, but taken together, the timeline contradictions, the repetition, the nightly variations, fans believe the show isn't progressing. Rather, it's repeating. And the band may be stuck inside the loop. If the show is trapped in a loop, the next question is why, and who benefits from that loop continuing. One of the darker fan theories to emerge from the Long Live the Black Parade tour is the idea that his grand immortal dictator isn't just overseeing the performance, he's being sustained by it. At the start of the tour, the dictator isn't metaphorically lifeless, he's literally lifeless, presented as a mannequin rather than a living figure. No movement, no expression, no indication that he's truly present beyond what he represents. But that changes in Los Angeles. On LA Night 1, the dictator appears for the first time as a human actor. The shift is immediate and unmistakable. A figure that once felt artificial is suddenly animated, responsive, and undeniably alive. At the same time, fans began noticing changes in the band, particularly in My Chemical Romance frontman Gerard Way. As the tour progresses, Gerard's makeup appears increasingly distressed. He looks paler, more worn down, more battered, less like theatrical decay, and more like a person actively deteriorating. Now, some fans interpret this as punishment within the story. Others see it as something more literal. That contrast is what fuels this theory. As the dictator becomes more alive, the band looks more dead. From there, the life force theory becomes unsettling but consistent. The performance itself is the exchange. The band isn't just entertaining the system, they're sustaining it. Every night they play, every ritual they repeat, and every act of resistance that still happens within the rules of the show feeds the power watching over them. Now, in this reading, the band is trapped in a cycle where their labor, their presence, and their art are the source of the dictator's continued existence. Is that what's actually happening? There's no confirmation. But the timing of a lifeless mannequin giving way to a living figure as the band appears increasingly depleted is hard to ignore. And if this theory holds, it reframes the entire tour not as a march toward freedom, but as a slow, deliberate crawl toward death. My Chemical Romance's 2010 album Danger Days, The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, tells the story of a group of rebels, the Fabulous Killjoys, who are fighting an oppressive corporate regime known as Better Living Industries, or BLIND, in a futuristic, post-apocalyptic version of Southern California. Guided by pirate radio broadcasts from Dr. D, the Killjoys resist a system built on control, conformity, and manufactured happiness. Now, if that already sounds familiar to you, you're not alone. Anybody who's seen the Long Live the Black Parade tour can spot the parallels almost immediately. We've got authoritarian figures, a violent dictator, random product placement, and sponsorship style imagery. And at the center of it all, there's a group of artists who appeared controlled, perhaps even brainwashed, but still show moments of defiance. Now, these shared themes alone could be written off as mere coincidence, but fans believe the connections go deeper than that. At one of the shows, I think it was the tour kickoff in Seattle, but if you know exactly which one, you'll have to let us know in the comments. A poster briefly appears on the Jumbotron that looks strikingly similar to the Danger Days era Exterminate posters. It's a small detail, but one that immediately caught the attention of longtime fans. There's another moment that's fueled even more speculation. During the interlude after Mama, when Gerard Way takes a reading break, he can be seen holding Murder Magazine at shows in Seattle and San Francisco. While the issues don't appear to be identical, the magazine itself is the same one that Mikey Way, aka Cobra Kid, is seen reading in the Na 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 music video, which was released as the first single off Danger Days. Now, again, this could just be a coincidence, but taken together, the posters, the magazine, the recurring imagery, fans see this as a deliberate thread being pulled. In fact, creators like Franny Stein on TikTok have been connecting these dots in real time, breaking down how the Black Parade, Danger Days, and now the Long Live the Black Parade tour might all be connected in far deeper detail than I could ever muster. So, let's take a look.
On the clown's vest is kind of similar to some of the BLI symbols. BLI Industries or Blind. You see all this sequencing that somebody deciphered as kind of like a launch code messaging. You see Gerard's character in their last bit of strength reaching out and pressing a button, which subsequently might have launched something off, and then there's a whole bunch of static. On the original BLI website, they mention a Great Fire in 2012 that cleansed the area. BLI took over as a de facto political and commercial force in 2012 after the Great Fire.
So, what does it all mean? Honestly, nobody knows for sure. And that uncertainty may very well be the point. What does seem clear is that My Chemical Romance are intentionally echoing the world of Danger Days, not just thematically, but visually. Now, whether that suggests a shared universe, a repeating cycle, or simply another version of the same story being told from a different angle is still up for debate. But if history tells us anything about My Chemical Romance, is that when details like this start lining up, they're rarely accidental. As the Long Live the Black Parade tour is unfolded, one thing has become clear. The story doesn't end when the setlist does. For many fans, the real conversations begin afterward, in the details that change from night to night, and the questions that the show never directly answers. As the tour heads next to Europe and South America, the story isn't finished. It's still being written. And if this run has proven anything, it's that with My Chemical Romance, the smallest changes can mean everything. If you made it this far, tell us what you've noticed, share your theories in the comments, and let us know if you want more videos like this. Until then, we'll see you next time.